Welcome back to Random Anime Thoughts. Now it's been a minute since we did one of these, but I just wanted to do one because there's an important topic that we need to talk about, and I'm pretty sure you know what it is because it's the title, and that's Deku versus Spider-Man. Because this was a thing that was a pretty big debate for a while because people weren't sure who would win until they finally did a death battle and decided everything for everyone. But I kept asking myself while watching this video, why was this even a debate? And then it hit me. The reason why this actually became a debate, because people were using logic. Now I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, of course, yeah, you're probably gonna side with the anime because you're biased. No, I'm gonna side with the anime because anime doesn't use logic, which is something that's really different between cartoons and anime. Because cartoons actually try to give you a bit of logic, anime doesn't care. Because if you don't believe me, think about some of the most strongest characters in the cartoon world. Some of them are goofy, yeah, but the ones who are really strong look like they're strong, and they most of the time explain why they're that strong. Let's talk about anime characters. Most of the time, the really powerful people look goofy. That's the whole point. In fact, let's talk about Goku, the representation most of the time of the strongest in terms of anime, but he's not really the strongest. Do you know how Goku's powers work? Basically, they've only told us that he just can keep getting stronger because that's what a Saiyan does. Does that logically make sense to you, or does that look like a pull? You decide. But either way, this guy who can just keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger until who knows when, would lose a fight against this little creature that we don't know why he's that strong, but you just have to accept the fact that he is that strong.
Okay.
Let's talk about Saitama, Mr. One Punch Man himself, Goku's biggest rival in terms of anime debates. We don't know how he got that strong. That's the point. We just have to assume that he broke his limits. So he doesn't have any limits. So technically, he can just keep going and doing stuff that we don't know what he can do. And we just have to accept that. Are you starting to get what I'm saying when it comes to anime? Logic just doesn't matter.
Okay.
And this is why Deku versus Spider-Man was never gonna make sense. Because when it comes to Spider-Man, let's talk about it. Spider-Man's fighting people who have like abilities of rhinos or certain sand people. Cool, yeah, we get it. Do you honestly believe that he was gonna beat a guy who is just randomly doing a bunch of speed feats that would require you to have a physics degree to explain? And you just have to accept the fact that someone randomly is gonna say, wow, he's breaking the sound barrier. Damn, but that's the world of anime. They don't care whether they explain to you or not how that person is doing that thing. You just have to accept the fact that they did. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about the reality that they live in. Like Spider-Man, I have not seen him break any crucial bones ever in his life. I don't know, maybe you know, but I haven't seen him do that. But if he did, the comic book or the cartoon would try and explain to you, maybe by allowing time to pass, that that's how he was able to heal. Or even if an alien came to that world and healed him, there would have to be an explanation that these aliens have a bunch of advanced technology that sped up his recovery, and that's how Spider-Man came back. That's logical. Do you know how a person like Deku, who has shattered multiple crucial bones in his body, has healed? Kisses from a grandma. Yes, the grandma's not normal, but still, you just have to accept the fact that she can do that. Cool, let's look at their universes. Because in the world of My Hero Academia, there are people who have world-destroying abilities working at supermarkets. And maybe this is just a controversial take. Mr. Aizawa, aka Eraserhead. His special ability is that he nullifies other people's quirks or abilities. And then he fights you basically hand to hand, and he's kinda smart. In a sense, you could borderline say he's kinda like Batman. Do you know that a guy like that who really, when you think about it, be comparable to a Batman-esque sort of character? It's just an average teacher. He's good, but he's not a top hero. In fact, the way there's no logic within the world of My Hero Academia, some of the top heroes have some of the lamest powers you've ever seen. Best Jeanist uses threads. He wears jeans on his face that have like belt buckle that says BJ in front of his mouth. Did you actually think there was gonna be a logical conversation between these universes? Because there isn't. This is anime. There's no logic.
Something smells good in there.
And this is what I'm just trying to say about this entire debate. When it comes to anime, limits and things like that don't matter. In fact, most of the time when we're watching anime and you think about a character overcoming obstacles and getting stronger, within anime, a character who maybe doesn't even have powers can gain powers because all of a sudden he's gonna get knocked out and then realize 10,000 years ago his uncle met his grandma who had a power, and then they got dragon powers, and then he picked up a nickel when he was a kid, and then all of a sudden he developed dragon powers, and then he's gonna turn into a butterfly. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's never ever gonna make sense. They don't care. They really just don't care about logic. And I'm sorry for people who want to keep making debates between cartoons and anime. It's not that I think that one is better. I just think that one does not care about logic while the other one does.